I am Zahir Calvinong Abdullah and you are tuning in to Nightline. The top stories: Navy helicopter tragedy, victims' post-mortems expected to be completed Wednesday afternoon. And RMN's 90th anniversary celebration cancelled, replaced with Talil prayer session. Probe is underway into the tragic crash involving Royal Malaysian Navy helicopters in Lumut, Perak, which claimed the lives of 10 crew members early Tuesday. In the 9:45 a.m. incident, the helicopters collided during a mid-air maneuver during a fly-past training for the Navy's 90th anniversary celebrations. 3 female personnel and 2 squadron commanding officers were among the 10 who died in the crash. It was at 9:30 a.m. that the 2 helicopters, an Augusta Westland AW139 Maritime Operations Helicopter HOM and a Eurocopter Fennec, took off from Padang Setiawan. 15 minutes later, the HOM aircraft crashed on the steps of the RMN Lumut Stadium, while the Fennec aircraft fell in the swimming pool of the Lumut RMN Sports Complex. The Fire and Rescue Department, Ambulance Services and Navy Provost were dispatched to the crash site after receiving a distress call about the incident at about 9:50 a.m. The victims' remains were recovered with the assistance of heavy machinery provided by the Fire and Rescue Department. The identification process by the next of kin was conducted by the Malaysian Armed Forces Hospital before the remains were transported to the Raja Permaisuri Bainun Hospital for post-mortem. Later in the evening, the Navy released the identities of all 10 victims. In the HOM AW139 aircraft were Commander Muhammad Firdaus Ramli, Lieutenant Commander 1 Rizauddin Kamal Zainal Abidin, and Lieutenant Commander Muhammad Amirul Faris Muhammad Marzuki. Other victims in the same aircraft were identified as Pegawai Warren 2 TLR AQM Muhammad Faizul Tamadun, Pegawai Warren 2 TNL Nur Farahimi Muhammad Saidi, Bintara Muda TNL Nur Rahiza Anwar, and Laskar Kelas 1 JJM Joanna Felicia Rona. In the Fennec helicopter, the victims were identified as Commander Muhammad Amir Muhammad, Lieutenant T. Siva Sultan, and Pegawai Warren 2 TMK Muhammad Sharizan Muhammad Tamizi. The Navy also said it had established an investigation board to probe the incident. The probe to identify the cause of the incident will be led by the Navy in collaboration with the police and the Fire Rescue Department. And we have with us now is TV3's reporter Hilmi Abdul Malik, who is at the Raja Permaisuri Bainun Hospital in Ipoh. Hilmi, can you share with us some updates?
Thank you, Kelvin. I am here at the Raja Permaisuri Bainun Hospital in Ipoh now. The forensics department at this hospital has received the remains of the 10 air crash victims of the post-mortem process at 6 p.m. The Health Ministry in a statement said that the procedure is expected to be completed by late afternoon on Wednesday. The remains of Muslim victims will then be brought to the 23rd RAMD Mosque in Ipoh for funeral prayers before being taken to their respective hometowns. The remains of the 2 non-Muslim victims, meanwhile, are expected to be flown to their respective hometown in Kuching and Setiawan after the post-mortem is completed. And in respecting the privacy of all parties, this hospital is seeking the cooperation of everyone. This is to ensure that the process of post-mortem and identification of remains by the next of kin can be carried out smoothly, in addition to respecting the privacy of the victims' families and next of kin. And for the identification process, the next of kin of the victims started arriving at this hospital as early as 4 p.m. That's the update from the hospital. Let's back to Kelvin.
Meanwhile, the sister of 38-year-old Muhammad Faizal said she did not expect that her youngest brother's picture, taken during Aidilfitri almost 2 weeks ago, would be their last memory together. 50-year-old Noriani Tamadun, the eldest of 4 siblings, recalled their last family gathering on the first day of Hari Raya Aidilfitri. She said her brother wanted to have rice with fried eggs and salted fish and expressed concern about not being able to enjoy the dish again, puzzling his sister with the statement.
Dia cakap engkau makan kali terakhir ni, dia kata. Kau tak, jadi tak terkeluar nak cakap kan, pasal apa budak ni cakap macam ni, kata. Dia kata, lepas tu dia minta ambil gambar sini lah. 3 orang. Kakak, lepas tu dia, lepas tu adik nombor 2. Nombor 3 tu tak sampai lagi. Lepas tu dia duk peluk lah. Lepas tu kata, janganlah duk buat macam ni, sedih sangat, kata. Lepas tu dia kata, tak apalah kita ambil 3, dia kata. Nanti tak ada seorang, tinggal 2. Lepas tu saya pergi balik, jadi 3 balik, dia kata. Buang seorang, dia kata. Dia kata kat kau, buang seorang. Kau tak sedar hati lah, kata.
Noriani said her brother was eager to attend training at the RMN Lumut base in Perak as he could be with his wife Noor Shuhada, aged 39, who teaches at Sri Iskandar. The late Faisal leaves behind a wife and 2 daughters, aged 10 and 6. Another victim, Petty Officer TNL Noor Rahiza Anwar, aged 39, was in a joyous mood during this year's Hari Raya Aidilfitri, more so than ever, according to her eldest brother, 46-year-old Abdul Latif. He recalled how his sister, the third of 5 siblings, took the lead in adorning their father's house with new curtains and preparing the meals on Hari Raya.
Dia macam excited sangat nak beraya, dia panggil semua, mai duduk sini kan, mai duduk kat kursi depan ni, mai nak beraya, lepas tu buat video. Sebelum ni tak macam tu kan, yang tahun-tahun lepas kan, tak macam tu.
Latif said that Rahiza's absence would be deeply felt, especially by their father, who is suffering from Parkinson's disease, who is in his 70s, especially so as their mother passed away last year. Meanwhile, the family of Commander Muhammad Firdaus Ramli said he had talked to his parents over the phone just before the incident on Tuesday morning, although there seemed to be nothing unusual about the conversation. His sister, 27-year-old Aliyah Ramli, said it was routine for Firdaus to call his parents before work every morning to check up on them and the family. Upon receiving the tragic news, the family rushed to Perak from their home in Sungai Nibong, Pulau Pinang. Following the incident, Defence Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said the RMN 90th anniversary celebrations in Lumut will be cancelled.
Kita batalkan, kita gantikan dengan majlis doa selamat.
The minister spoke to the media after visiting the accident site and as well as visiting families of the crew at the naval base. He said the Sultan of Selangor would be joining the prayers as the honorary captain of the Navy. Khalid also said the Navy would also set up an investigation committee in view of the incident. The government will provide special assistance to the next of kin of the officers and personnel of the Royal Malaysian Navy who lost their lives in Tuesday's tragedy. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadillah Yusof said their welfare is now the government's priority, adding that details of the government's assistance and support to the victims' families will be announced by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim soon.
Majoriti mereka adalah daripada keluarga yang muda, pilot yang muda, anggota yang muda dan sudah pasti keluarga yang muda. Dan anak-anak yang masih kecil. Bayangkan anak berumur 3 tahun, tidak tahu apa-apa, kehilangan sama ada ibu ataupun kehilangan bapa.
He said this when met by members of the media after conducting a visit to the Navy base on Tuesday afternoon. Fadillah also reminded all parties, including the media, not to make any speculations about the incident out of respect for the victims' families and urged the public to allow the authorities to carry out their duties in conducting a full investigation into the incident. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim meanwhile expressed his sadness and conveyed his condolences to the victims of the crash and ordered the Malaysian Armed Forces MBF to conduct a thorough investigation to get full information on the incident. In his social media post, the king said he and the Raja Permaisuri Agong, Raja Zarit Sofia, were deeply saddened by the loss of the nation's heroes in the tragedy. The royal couple offered Al-Fatiha and heartfelt condolences over the victims' demise. The Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah, also expressed deep sadness over the tragedy. In his social media post, the Sultan, who is also the Royal Malaysian Navy RMN Captain-in-Chief, expressed his shock at the incident. He also conveyed his condolences to the next of kin and families of the RMN members who died and hoped that they will persevere in the face of this tragedy. The Sultan said the passing of the 10 RMN officers was a great loss to the RMN and the country. Similarly, the Prime Minister conveyed his condolences to the families of the victims. In a statement, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the nation mourns the heart-wrenching tragedy involving the crash of 2 helicopters. He extended his condolences to all the families of the victims and prayers for them to have strength to face the calamity. He said the tragedy has a profound effect on the Malaysian Armed Forces and is a great loss for the country. Anwar also stressed that the Royal Malaysian Navy and Defence Ministry will immediately carry out a probe into the helicopter crash which killed 10 crew members.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Taiwan rattled by dozens of aftershocks. News from the foreign front when we return.